Rimuru's Journey for His Beloved Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest by Sakura-Arashi. Ambush and Massacre. I can't bring myself to leave everything behind, and so my suffering continues. The next day, Hajime and Yu woke up and started preparing for the day. While Shay took her time accepting her family's change. Rimuru came out of his tent and greeted everyone with a smile as he made his way towards his brother and Yu. Hajime, seeing his brother approached, stopped flirting with Yu and greeted him. "Brother, let's start preparing so we can head out for the great tree soon." Hearing this, Rimuru replied, "I'm always prepared. You on the other hand, should stop flirting so early in the morning and start preparing." Yu turned red while Hajime muttered in a low voice, "HMPH, you're just jealous." What was that? Though Rimuru heard Hajime clearly, he decided to play dumb and act like he didn't. Nothing. Shay at this time, finally returned to her original self and greeted the group filled with energy. Together, they met up with Cam and started preparing to leave for the great tree when one of the scouts came forward and reported. "Boss, a problem occurred while we were hunting the monsters. A group of fully armed Bearman tribe was spotted en route towards the great tree. We suspect they aimed to ambush us," the scout said. Hajime gave a laugh and replied, "Though I expected them to come, I thought they'd come immediately. I guess they wanted to crush us in front of our goal." Rimuru, on the side, looked at Cam and saw his excited face, asked, "Well Cam, you seem energetic, do you want to take care of them?" Cam, who had been wanting to test how far his power had gotten, grinned with a fearless smile and said, "I'd be honored too, truth to be told. I've been looking for an opponent to test how far we've come." Hearing their chief, everyone started to show an excited and fearless grin as they started to arm themselves. All of the tribe stood and said in unison, "Sir, ready to kill." Seeing this, Hajime smiled while Shay couldn't help but feel a little depressed. "All right, we'll leave this matter to you. We will stay behind and guide you from there, but we won't interfere with you," Hajime declared. And so under Hajime and Rimuru's leadership, the fearless tribe disappeared into the fog. On the Bearman's side, Regin Bantan was a strong man, rumored to be the next chief of the Bantan tribe. The Bantan tribe is one of the Bearman tribes. He idolized one of the current elders, Jin Bantan, and became his right hand. Not just Regin, but most of the Bearman tribe idolized Jin Bantan due to his character being broad-minded, containing deep patriotism, and above all, his strength. It was what had allowed him to be considered as one of the highest class among the demi-human race. That's why when they heard Jin was powerless and scrapped by a human, they thought they were just joking. They couldn't believe their beloved elder had been, or rather could have been, incapacitated by a human. However, reality was harsh, and seeing Jin lying down powerless in a medical facility showed them the truth. Regin was filled with anger and demanded an explanations from the elders. The elders gave in and explained what had happened along with a warning not to engage if they wanted to live. However, Regin ignored their warning and gathered the Bearman soldiers to embark on his revenge. Fortunately, thanks to the persuasion of the elders, not all the Bearmen marched. Only most of the youngsters joined. They numbered around 50 plus. Regin and the others who knew their enemy's objective thought it best to attack when their enemy was in front of the great tree as revenge. They thought, to perish right before the goal is the best revenge. They didn't have the slightest thought of being defeated, since they thought they knew who their enemy is. All they thought was humans, and the Rabbitman tribe was all they're facing, even thought Jin was defeated. They thought the enemy had used some kind of cowardly method to do so. However, Regin realized his mistake a little too late. What the hell is this? Aren't the Rabbitman tribe rank as the weakest? The reason for his words was because he was witnessing an impossible spectacle. The Bearman tribe, which was known for their combat skills, was being cornered by the weak and gentle Rabbitman tribe. Muahaha, come on, where's your fighting spirit? Surely you can do better than that. Are you bears or pigs? You're so weak I can't tell the difference. Come on, scream like the weaklings you are. While the Howlia tribe swung countless fatal, murderous attacks, their loud laughter resounded. Rimuru, who was observing the battle with Yu, Hajime and Shay, spoke. "Well, I don't think anyone's gonna be stupid enough to mess with them again." Hajime nodded and said with a smug face, "It's only natural, I trained them after all." Shay could only look at the bright side and stay positive. While Yu didn't react much. Screams came from the Bearman tribe, who desperately tried to fight off the relentless Rabbitman tribe. "Shit, what the hell is going on? Who the hell are you? There's no way they're the Rabbitman tribe." "Awa." Stay away. No. The Bearman tribe, who fell in a panic, were easily defeated by the Rabbitman tribe. Soon half of the Bearmen had been killed. Regin-sama, if this continue. Retreat. However, before they could retreat, arrows flew from inside the fog and accurately hit their ankles. Finally the Rabbitman's onslaught came to an end after there were only 15 Bearmen left, including Regin, who were all immobilized and unable to keep on fighting. Ha ha ha, is this the tribe who's known for being the strongest? Pathetic. Cam was the one who spoke, mocking them. What the hell are you? Regin asked in despair. Of course we're the Rabbitman tribe. Don't you recognize us? Or are you just too stupid? Cam replied. That's not possible. The Rabbitman tribe are soft and weak. Regin said. Well, it doesn't matter, you're all gonna die anyways. Come on, let's finish then off. Cam ordered. The Bearman tribe began to sweat as the Rabbitman tribe approached them, ready to execute them. Fortunately for them, Rimuru spoke. Stop. Killing them isn't the best move. Hearing his words, the Rabbitman tribe naturally stood down. Cam, who heard this, asked. Rimuru-dano, why isn't this a good move? Rimuru replied. Killing them here wouldn't actually accomplish anything here. Instead, it would be better to let them live and spread your radical changes. After all, dead men tell no tales. With that, you'll be sure no one will dare stand up against you. Hearing this, Cam and the others nodded, understanding the point of letting them live. A lesson to you all, although I said killing is a great solution. It isn't always the best way, don't just let your instinct guide you. Learn to use your head and be smart about your move. Rimuru added. After speaking, he turned his attention over to the rest of the Bearmen and said. Go, I am letting you live. Remember to explain everything that had happened, trouble us again. I will assure you, there's no mercy next time. With that, the Bearmen ran as fast as they could back home. They spread the words of what happened. In the beginning no one believed them. But seeing how many of them were either dead or wounded, they soon accepted the reality. After dealing with the Bearman tribe and any future threat to the Rabbitman tribe, Rimuru and the others left the Rabbitman tribe and headed out towards the Great Tree. Hello guys, author here. I know this was a short chapter and all. But I uploaded this mainly to tell you my problem. When I first started writing, I was happy, very happy. My mental health was probably at its peak at that point. I was doing something new, and is experiencing something very different and new. Writing cured me not just of my boredom but also made me happy whenever I think of my writing as canon in my own universe. The thought of the things that never happened, happening in my own stories. I was very satisfied and happy with it. Yes, even though my stories at the beginning had so many flaws. Wrong spelling, sometimes grammar and plot holes. But truthfully, I was very happy. Because back then, I was writing for myself. I wrote it for me to be satisfied. I wrote it because I was longing for things that never happened in the story. I made the things that never happened happen in my story. I also changed the story according to my own real-life story. Longing for the things that never happened in my life and in the story. Reading my own story made me so happy. Each story and idea that came by filled me with excitement. I had never intended to write my stories for the public. But I uploaded it anyways. Why? Because I thought, wouldn't it be nice if other people who are longing for the exact same thing as I am find this story? Maybe they'll give me ideas of their own and I'll have more things to write. I can't put in words how excited I was when I thought of this. I wanted to write forever and just keep on being happy. Write so many things and follow all the ideas I have. But sadly reality is cruel and nothing lasts forever. A little note to the people. I started writing back in January of 2022, almost a year now. Back then everything was online, my class was online. I really couldn't keep up my grades online. I don't know if it's just me because other people find online easy, but me, I find it incredibly hard. I can't stand online no matter how hard I try. There were just too many problems for me, like the crazy amounts of distractions. I started taking online classes in 2021, I was grade 8 back then. I was doing so bad, I was failing every subject and my grades was falling every quarter. I was extremely depressed during this whole school year. I even stopped attending online class overall. My parents weren't just disappointed but angry, very angry. But somehow I managed to barely pass the year with an average of 7,980. The next year, I was grade 9. This happened near the end of 2021. I was back in the cycle again. I stopped attending online, got depressed and so on. But then, I started writing. Writing helped me get through this rough and horrible time. While doing online class I was writing, wherever I was I would be writing. I was really happy in my life. But like I said earlier, nothing lasts forever. And soon, instead of writing for me and making myself happy, it became the opposite. I need you to understand, writing was the thing that relieved my stress or make me not think about my problems. It's like being in a world of your own, your imagination is your limit and all that. No peer pressure on you or anything, just whatever you want you could do. But writing became one of my sources of stress, not the stress reliever anymore. Now I had nowhere to escape. Nothing to keep me busy or happy. My problems caught up to me, my parents telling me how bad I am, my grades looming over me. And finally writing. Because I made my stories public, I as the author, had the automatic responsibility. No one gave it to me but myself. Since I like everyone reading this as a human. We all know we want people to tell us how good our work is or people to praise us. And I really needed that at the time. While everything in my life was shit. When I first uploaded my first ever story, someone gave me a compliment. And since everyone was screaming at me about how bad I was doing, this compliment that I saw, immediately, I wanted to get more of it. That started my cycle of depression. Instead of writing for myself, I was now writing so I could be praised and appreciated. Now I wasn't writing to satisfy myself but to satisfy other people. That's why, unlike before when I had the choice of when I could write, I felt like I had to write every single second of my life, checking for mistakes and all. That's why if you could notice in the end of my previous story, there was a note saying if there's a mistake just tell me so I can fix it. Every time I made a mistake or maybe couldn't write for a day, I would get frustrated, I would get mad at myself. I was screaming at myself on why I wasn't writing. Instead of finding happiness in writing, all I found was more hate towards myself. That's why I had so many burnout in writing. I just couldn't hold myself anymore. My mentality was collapsing and thoughts of suicide came to my mind so many times. Now writing felt like my hell instead of my heaven. People might call me weak because I was losing myself just because of this, but not everyone is as strong as someone. Please understand me. Fast forward, I'm now a grade 10 student in their second quarter of the school year. Now my class is face-to-face, and I am doing much better than before both in mental health and grades. But writing never felt the same way as it did before. Now writing feels like a duty instead of a hobby, it felt like a must rather than a want. And that's why, from now on I'm gonna start writing again, not for the people but for myself. Thank you for everything. And I am truly sorry for all the people who kept on waiting for my updates. I will keep on uploading, but sometimes different stories and sometimes on this story. It's just that I will focus on what I want to do rather than what people want to read. I hope you understand and I thank you all. A lesson to everyone. Don't do anything for the sake of praises and appreciation, do it for yourself. Make yourself a priority, then everything just comes after. A wise person once said, to take care of others, you must first take care of yourself. Sure, you will feel satisfied whenever you're complimented and praised, but the stress and weight of having to constantly hold the image of what they have of you will eventually overwhelm you. It's all right to make your parents and loved ones happy by making them proud, but never let them measure your success. Never let them be the reason why you're trying so hard, but do it for yourself and think of your future instead.